This week on Hermitcraft.
I've decided to stack the cat's boats. I have no idea why, but apparently it was for my amusement.
Welcome to the Hermitcraft recap. My name is Pixelriffs, our writer is SloyXP. Captions on this video were provided by Liara. And just a glance at what number week this is should give us a pretty good idea of what most of the comments on this episode will be. Good job everyone, we're making it to week 70. The march of time is ever onward. It is, however, June, not March, so let's take a look at all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server this week. Starting with Good Times with Scar, who has completed the zombie enclosure in his zoo, and yet they still figured out a way to escape.
We're losing zombies. They're dying somehow, and I don't know what's going on.
No, we don't know how they're dying while in a controlled environment either. Dying is famously the opposite of what zombies do.
They have the head on. The head will allow them to be alive in the day. There's no suffocation areas. Okay, at least we have 2. Down from 7.
His next exhibit is no less dangerous because what cows famously like doing is getting abducted by aliens, which is why that's exactly what's going on in his cow and chicken pen, barn and all. One of these animals is immune to fall damage. You may note that one is less than 2.
And now we can figure out how to get the danglies. I did not get to the danglies.
Well, hopefully the future owners of exotic mobs will take better care of their pets, even if they're getting them from the same guy. Scar is still the owner of the defunct All Mobs permit, and now that papers mean nothing, he's finally secured some deals. We only bring it up because making that one extra permit for Scar was one of the few helpful things the permit office actually did. The poaching recipients are as follows. Rendog has ordered a fully unegged sniffer. Cubfan asked for 5 trapped witches. Skizzleman has ordered 2 pandas. And Impulse SV ordered a Ravager to put into the decked out tribute within Metro Mayhem, all to be delivered within 1 to 3 business months, so here's hoping they're not starting next season that soon.
Alright, well I could deliver a Ravager, that's
so yeah,
easy
either
peasy.
way, you're getting paid for a Tango's Con.
I love getting paid.
That deadline would mean Vintage Beef is on a tight clock to figure out the mystery of his own abducted animals. And unless Scar has been role-playing the alien cow snatchers himself, we can't really account for the disappearance of Beef's sniffers, or the missing water pump that seems to also have deleted his cow fence but left the ground beneath it untouched. We might have expected crop circles, but this is something quite different.
That's weird too, because I'm pretty sure I had sheep in here. Where'd the llama go? What do you want? Is that like a bow before battle?
Beef discovers this by performing some much-needed renovation on his utility farms, the cluster of cows or constantly egg-laying chickens below the surface of the crop-growing fields. The decor suits them much better than the stone boxes they were formerly stored in, and Beef takes advantage of the missing sniffers to remodel the goat and sheep pen, which the goats and sheep immediately escape. And not in a way that cries foul play, they just hop over the guardrails using some conveniently placed foliage.
You are the future, because I only have 2 of you. So, oh, I made a grave mistake. Hold on.
Beef's animals running off is bad enough, but Cubfan135 has to face a much worse crime, his diamonds disappearing.
Cleo has taken out hundreds of diamond blocks from our base, from these mineral resources.
Spread around his Skulkin base, Cub has had numerous outcroppings of diamond ore and blocks displayed as if pushed out of the ground by the ever-expanding Skulk. Well, a keen viewer may remember that Zombie Cleo came up a few payments too short on their Exile bookshop, and apparently they've now found them spread across some guy's Skulk plains. Cub rightfully warns them that with the mineral balance of the Skulk disturbed, the Skulk will now come looking for them at Cleo's base. Speaking from experience, you might want to start dumping buckets of water on Cubfan immediately.
And I mean, once it spreads to your base, it's outside the containment zone. It could spread to other bases.
But maybe if I really wanted to annoy somebody.
I mean, if you're up for that, I mean, that would be a possibility.
This all comes just in time for Cub's Skulk retaining walls to be complete, so this bit of roleplay also proves that those don't actually do anything. Just in case, Ijevin still builds his own castle wall, gating the roofed azalea forest of his base away from the rest of the server. The reinforced gate is meant to eventually begin a road leading to his main castle, which, by the way it turns out, he decided to build with the interior first and the outer decorations later. It feels like somewhere here there should be a Blue Prince joke. And admittedly, that would be the color Jevin is, if you look at him.
Took me till up until this point to get it done, so all season.
Hey, at least you've got things done.
Welsknight, in the meantime, has long finished the exterior of his own castle keep, and now has to struggle to contain within his mighty interiors.
The it makes this feel way less crowded and claustrophobic, which was kind of bothering me.
This week, the most he's built is tension in the recap's writing room as we went through architectural definitions to figure out if this attachment to the garden side of the castle is a terrace, a gazebo, or perhaps a colonnade. Regardless, it has a tea table in it and a view of some nice flower boxes. But hey, at least we aren't like the other Hermitcraft scholars who apparently made "is smallish beans always so intense" into a popular Google search. In short, yeah, pretty much. Otherwise he would not be spending cumulative 24 hours on a single building's interiors. Admittedly, we're talking about the city block-sized skyscraper Joel is filling back in, so no wonder he mails in Pearlescent Moon for help. She does agree to his purple armistice, but I guess he didn't tell her about the whole 24-hour situation.
I was lying.
7 pages, dude. Why
Yeah.
is it so long?
Well, I feel like the more letters, the more it shows how much I respect you. That's what it is. And I thought, you know what? I'm lazy. And I mean, I like you. Sorry, there's nothing to do with me being lazy.
False Symmetry settles for a more straightforward Q&A episode to celebrate hitting 50 episodes within the current Hermitcraft season. Fittingly, she answers the questions while building one of those London double-decker buses used for tours of the city. It's actually only here to serve as a bridge over a crack in the ground, though.
So then I have a favorite hobby outside of videos, things that I get up to other than computer-based stuff, I guess, really. Sorry, no answer for that one.
Well, any future videos of hers from the server are numbered and are only really counting down to the day Doc M catches her. Because not only has she managed to score the lowest on Doc's archery minigame, despite being one of the best PvP players on the server, she also managed to break it. So yeah, Doc M is rapidly approaching her location.
How did I miss it? How did I mess it up? Like, I'm actually kind of impressed by myself there that I messed it up.
XB Crafted's aim is to connect more of his base via tunnels, which are much easier to lay out now he's settled on a design he can reproduce. But he's also got ranged attacks in mind as he reintroduces loyalty tridents into his PvP arena after playtests proved Riptide was more popular. Now if players want to switch tactics mid-match, they can grab a loyalty trident from the booth dangling in front of their spawn point and fling forks at anyone who stands still for half a second, as long as they agree to return the tridents afterwards.
We have a plan. Plans are being formulated and tabulated.
He's also considering suggestions for how to prevent equipment loss, and the leading answer so far seems to be to employ a referee, or perhaps a butler, to make sure everyone's behaving themselves and to clean up after them. Which incidentally is what he might have to do with this extra dog he found lurking inside one of his statue guardians.
He was right there. I broke out the blocks and he was blip right there, and then he just comes shoving his way in. I'm up here.
He's in a similar predicament to Keralis then, who returns to the server to find Rendog lurking inside his entire base. Ren's video addresses the fact that he bought Keralis' base under dubious circumstances, but perhaps the most unsettling thing is when Keralis returns to stare at him in disbelief, because with Ren's combination of mods and resource packs, he occasionally blinks.
You know what? I'll waive the security deposit because I'm a nice landlord. No security deposit, just 1 month up front, then 63 a month. Easy deals.
The latest expansion to Ren's Gigacorp Walled Garden is a new storage module, freshly time-lapsed and ready to receive the contents of his ever-present Shulker monster. Ren plans to sort it based on what his fictional idea of each of the items is in the context of the space base, or to give it a shorter name, the Lori Decimal System.
I'm very relieved that I now have a place to put all of the nonsense that is starting to accumulate all over my base.
For now, it also has bats in the basement, but Ren hopes to turn that space into an automated farming area to ship some produce directly upstairs for a renewable supply. BOO is a country boy at heart, but this week he's leaving his pastoral, nay idyllic, surroundings for the bright lights of the big city. With the majority of the work on the Nether Hub completed and just a few fiddly filigree frames to fill in each of the corners, he turns his attention back to his cyberpunk collab with Impulse SV and has some cheeky secrets to loop us in on. Like the fact that the roofs have the most detail because most of the server will see the builds from Elytra's eye view, or the fact that the street level decorations are only there on one side because you'd never see the side that runs parallel to the perimeter wall unless you're a BOO viewer.
Once again, I'm getting sick thanks to my sickly children, all the time, don't respect me, or all they do is cough on me and make me sick.
It's a good thing he's a consummate artist with this whole building malarkey, because when Azuma shows him around the Fanart gallery and he gets to appraise his own paintings, he shows us firsthand why a career as an art critic would never quite pay off.
I intended for there to be a clip right there. There might not be a clip right there. I think I was recording, but I think I might not have been. I was in my Nether Hub haze. I was in a huge Nether Hub haze.
Conveniently for this segue, Skizzleman also works on the decor in his art gallery, and he does a better art critic impression than B-dubs.
What we have here is a classic situation of Popo Skizz. I mean, for the record, so we're all on the same page. That's exactly what I look like. I just want you guys to know that I look that good.
We're not surprised when he has such a high concept base, and now that he's connected the friendly foxes level of his pyramid to the self-esteem exhibit, he runs the gauntlet to see how difficult it actually is to reach self-actualization. After a few tries where his physiological needs are repeatedly threatened, he reaches the fox layer and therefore gets to tell us more about how it's supposed to work.
And I'll make that clear to everybody. You gotta make a baby fox and then you can move on.
But he's not done dying yet, since he's heard B00 was happy to decorate some of the alcoves of the Nether Hub archways with armor stands, and Skizz chooses to revisit his past lives of Season 10 purely so he can walk away with them as player heads. How he obtains those player heads brings us, finally, to Mumbo, whose own brain had just expanded after discovering spacebar-assisted crafting. With his quality of life thus increased, he decides to decrease it again by attempting to animate his pollutant slime pipeline with falling concrete powder and discovering that zero-ticking concrete pushers break entirely once your chunks get too lazy.
But I think I've got a better option. I'm so stupid.
But at least he can improve his quality of death when Skizz requests his repeated decapitation, and Mumbo sees an opportunity to 1v1 Skizz in Gem's Wooden Sword Arena, the better to create more townspeople for himself with an arbitrarily chosen mix of player skins. We don't get to see where these people end up yet, because Mumbo mostly works on more supercomputer modules and hillside terraforming, but at least they're moving into a place with some lovely local forests.
For it. Oh, and I can animate it. It could be animated. I think I'm getting a bit carried away.
And that's about it for this week's recap. Our writer is SloyXP, and my name is PixelRiffs. Captions on this video were provided by Liara. Don't forget to leave a like while you're still here, and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.